What it do, YouTube? Hope everybody's doing well. Oh man, back. Don't call it a comeback. Who wrote that rap? Don't call it a comeback. Been here for years, keeping suckers in fear. Yeah, man, I'm back. Yeah, man, this video is basically I don't know what the thumbnail was. I forgot. Update on basically on things to look out for when you're traveling the southern border, man. Let's get into it real quick. Settled in a little bit, and I thought I'd just wait till everything settled down and get everything, in operation and everything, and recap the whole trip, and then give you guys my 2 cents on it. Got that water going, man. Yeah, so man, let's just get right into it because it's gonna be a long video. I can tell already. But yeah, man, down here now, Louisiana, just everything's going well. Yesterday, basically went to Mississippi. My daughter, her last fall ball game. Last week, they were up in Baton Rouge. They played Southern University. She did well. Man, I was up there, man, Baton Rouge. Let me tell you, man, LSU was playing that same Saturday. They was playing that Saturday night. It was the Centennial game versus Ole Miss or something like that. They've been playing football for 100-something years. Them two schools battling each other, and so that was their anniversary or whatever. And it was packed, man. I thought I was in Mississippi when I was up in Baton Rouge. There was so many red and blue Ole Miss swag gear, hoodies, and bumper stickers and everything. I said, damn, are we in Baton Rouge or are we in Oxnard, Mississippi? You know what I'm saying? It was crazy, man. But LSU got the W. So that was fun, man. Seeing that little Baton Rouge area. That's a big ass Capitol building, man. And then what else? Oh, yesterday I was in Mississippi in Pascagoula, Mississippi, right there next to Biloxi a little bit, kind of like over that bridge, that little drive out there is kind of nice a little bit. That bridge over the water, over the Gulf. I don't know about that. That shit was scary. But yeah, I was out there. Daughter had a couple games out there. She went crazy. Went like for the weekend, betted like 600 or something like that. 4 for 6, 4 RBIs, and only played 2 games, but she killed it. But so everything's going well, man. And what else, man? Yeah, man. So we good. We down here right now. And so let's recap the trip, man, the drive. Because, man, I don't know how many people, man, raise your hand. No, like you in class. Raise your hand if you drove the southern border before in your life. Now, you can do it 2 directions. You can do it from the Florida tip, come all the way across, I guess, to New Orleans or whatever. You can come all the way across the country. I ain't did the whole continental U.S. border, but I just did San Diego to New Orleans. But the interesting thing about when you get to New Orleans, there's no more cities underneath you. It's just water. Whereas from San Diego all the way to practically to the edge of Texas, right there, that's where you hit the Gulf. And then after that, everything below you is Central America and stuff like that. And then when y'all on the East Coast, y'all Florida boys, your border starts way over there. It can't start down in Miami. I mean, you can, but you just skirting water for the most part, you know what I'm saying? So let me know if anybody ever driven the southern border, man, from either direction. I don't know. Some people probably went all the way from Florida all the way to San Diego, and some people probably went from San Diego all the way to Florida. But my trip was San Diego to New Orleans. So let's talk about let's go back to where it started. So San Diego, basically, Tijuana's right there underneath us. So you basically saying from Tijuana to New Orleans. Now, all the way across, you're skirting the Mexican border with cities and towns underneath you. So it's a little different effect than coming from the East Coast where it's just water underneath you. If you follow me, if you guys know your geography, Gulf of Mexico. So you got Florida, Gulf of Mexico. So there's nothing underneath you, until you get around the Texas part. So, but man, let me tell you, man. So starting it off, man, the gas when I left, it was, I went to my favorite gas station. I think it was, man, what was it, like 470, 469 or something like that? It wasn't quite 5, but all over the place in Southern California, you can find $5 gas easy. 520 is going to be somewhere up in there. But I was like 475, so I filled the tank up. And then after that, we take off, we shipped all our furniture, house and stuff, and we shipped my car. We took my wife's car because I chose to take a smaller car. Now people say, man, why you take a small car for a long trip? Well, here's the reason behind that. Took a small car because I was trying to be efficient on the gas. My car is a gas guzzler. That motherfucker drink gas. So no matter how cheap the gas is, I'm still gonna be, putting more gas in frequently because it just burns it so fast. So took the smaller car and it did work out. The average fill up. When I travel, just let you know things to look out for. Let me just say this real quick. When you're traveling on the open road like that, man, don't let your gas tank get below 3/4. I know some people say, "Oh, I do half a tank." I don't do half a tank. I do 3/4 tank, and that gives me a chance to get a little break too. So a little bit less than 3/4 tank. I'm pulling over at the next stop, putting it back to F. A little bit less than 3/4 tank, pulling over. Now, when I stop to get gas, I don't take long breaks. I just gas up and get back on the road. So that's what we did for the most part. So all my top offs was between, once I got out of California, once I got into Arizona, it was like $16 to top it off at 3/4 tank. But so the first stop leaving San Diego, we go 80s, you shoot out 80s, and then you head toward Yuma. I stopped in Yuma and went to Sportsman Warehouse. I don't know if y'all been following my shorts and got a couple of mags. I was kind of disappointed, man. One thing about Sportsman Warehouse in Yuma, and this is all kind of like all over Arizona for the most part, because every time I go there and I go to their shops and stuff, they always out of stuff, man. Because here's the theory behind it. Arizona is completely strapped. I mean, people all got guns, and so it kind of backfires when you're in a free state versus a restricted state to a certain degree. Restricted states don't never really run out of anything. I don't know if anybody who lives in a restricted state, but when you go into a gun shop in Southern California, they're never out of nothing. Just flat out. They ain't never out of nothing, because part of my theory is, as many shooters we have, and recreational shooters and sports shooters we have in California, there's a whole bunch of people who don't own guns. So therefore the gun stops usually are chuck full with all your accessories and whatnot. Now, Arizona, which is one of the most open free states in the union, I mean, Governor McCain wrote it on the books, every citizen has the right to have a gun, full magazines. He don't care what, you can have semi-full, all that up in Arizona. So when you go into the Sportsman Warehouse in Yuma particularly, now Yuma ain't really the biggest city, so maybe, but there's other gun shops in Yuma, but Sportsman Warehouse is kind of like their academy. And when I went up in there, man, they whole Magpul mag thing was just depleted. Now they had AK mags and all that. They had Mission First Tactical mags. They kind of making a strong push right now, Mission First Tactical on their mags. They had a bunch of AR mags and stuff like that. They had 0 Glock pistol mags. They had P mags. They had, man, what Glock mags did they have? Nothing I wanted. I don't even think they even had any, man. I recall a homie said, "No, we ain't got none right now. We got something coming in." But so I just grabbed a couple window mags. We'll get into that in a second. And I want to get like 5 or 6 of them, but they ain't have them. So every time I go through there, sometimes they out of stuff, man. I think because it's where it's at, it's located, and people just go there and just gobble up everything, man. And so we stopped at Yuma. In Yuma, I didn't see too much human trafficking. I didn't see a bunch of illegals on the side of the road. Like one of the times I went through there last year, it wasn't like that. So I didn't see too much there. Then we kept going, we kept pushing. So our first stop was Tucson, Arizona. Man, let me tell you about Tucson, Arizona. But I wasn't by the university there. Everybody know anywhere in America, if there's a university, it's a little more uppity and clean, and it's more metropolitan around a university. So I wasn't by University of Arizona. I was in Tucson, but I wasn't right around the corner from it. I was kind of like on the outskirts of the university, not far, but just not by it. So when we pulled up, now my wife booked all the hotels. So I don't know what, I wasn't paying attention to which hotels we booked at. So I'm saying, what's the name of the hotel? We're getting close. Let's map it real quick. Now, one of the things that you also want to do, so I'm gonna keep telling y'all some tips along the way this trip, what you should look out for. So keep your gas up, okay? Keep your gas up. Now, need I mind you, my car is chuck full with all my guns because I didn't ship my guns. So they're not just laying all over the place, but it's packed with guns. So we could never really leave the car really too far or whatever it may be. One of us stayed in the car. We stayed together for the most part. We parked eye shot to where the car was, getting gas, stay in the car, lock the door, pay at the pump, get back on the road, go. But all the stuff from that point on, we got that gas system down. Now the hotel thing was a trip because when we booked, we were booking it for how many hours we're gonna drive. We didn't want to drive at night, so we were regimented like 6 to 8 hour drives, and then hotel, 6 to 8 hour drive and hotel. So that's why it took us a little longer to get here, because we wasn't in no rush and we didn't want to drive at night. And so when you're mapping it, you got to look at where does 8 hours put you. So from San Diego, 8 hours put us, it was about 6.5 hours-ish, 7 hours really from San Diego to Tucson. It's not quite 8, but it's about 7. And then it puts you right at Tucson. Now, if you want to push further, and let's say you go you want to drive 12 hours, it would drop you off in the middle of nowhere. So that's why you got to kind of like map it out, get a map and look and see what city is going to drop you at the 8, the 9, 10, 12 hour mark. Now, some of you guys are some Billy badasses and I just drive straight through, drive 14 hours. I don't give a fuck. I'll sleep in my car. Fine. Do you. I ain't doing all that. That's crazy. So we stopped in Tucson, and when we coming in, one of our things we do, I would suggest everybody do, if you got to make a grocery store run or anything like CVS, get a prescription or whatever you got to do, when you get into the town that you're going to stay in, coming off the open road, traveling across the southern border. Now, this is the southern border. I'm not talking about all across America, this, that. You can apply this to anywhere you're going, but we're specifically talking about the southern border from San Diego to New Orleans. So what I would strongly suggest do, what I do on all my road trips when I'm getting close to my town, looking at my map, it says 20 minutes. I eventually get close to the hotel we're going to stay, and then I map a grocery store to get more supplies, get food, whatever we need. And then we go to the store first, get our beer, ice, whatever. Not necessarily ice because the hotel's gonna have it. And then we head to the hotel. And that way we don't have to really go out no more again. Because as far as dinner go, we usually do Uber Eats or something like that, have them bring us something we want. And sometimes the hotels we stay in have an open restaurant, but this particular restaurant, they have one in the hotel. So, and I put a video up in the hotel, and it was brand new. They just redid the whole thing. But check it out. So when I go to the gas station, so when we get in town at Tucson, we're right outside from our hotel. I fuel up. It's like kind of a shady looking gas station. Kind of, it was like, man, it looked rough, man. I was like, this look rough. I said, where the hotel at? And then the map said it was across the street. I'm like, what? Over there? You saw all these cats hanging out in the corner, t-shirts hanging out their pocket, no shirts on, drinking 40s and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Where you book us at? Then my wife started freaking out. She said, what did I do? I'm like, man, calm down. We'll see what's going on. So I go in the gas station, pump the gas, talk to the dude behind the counter. I said, man, what's up with this little area, man? My wife booked it. I'm coming through, and we booked across the street. He said, oh man, you go, yeah, man, it's a little rough over here. I said, why? Because I know what it was. I went to the store to get some beer, and all the coolers were locked up with like the little locks on the coolers. I'm like, what the fuck? Who does this? Now I seen that in the Bay Area. If you go to the Bay Area in Berkeley, a lot of the stores do that in the Bay Area. Or if you're around a University, Cal, in Berkeley High School, because the kids come in at lunchtime and there's an ordinance where they got to lock their coolers up. A lot of schools in the Bay Area, I can't speak for the whole United States, but in the Bay Area, Oakland particularly, I'm talking about Berkeley, if your high school or middle school is by a convenience store that sells alcohol, that particular convenience store has to have all their alcohol coolers locked up behind a key and have to be escorted to get the alcohol out and back to the cash register during school hours. So, but this store ain't didn't do no school hours because ain't no school kids around, ain't no schools around. I said, so what do y'all got kids come here trying to buy alcohol? Why is it locked up? He said, no, man. He said the freaking county jail's right down the street, 2 blocks away, and they drop their butts off right here when they get released. They all come down here trying to steal stuff and all that kind of. I said, what? We're staying by a county jail? I was like, oh, hell no. Immediately, I said, oh, hell no. Immediately, let me get this thing ready. So I had pulled this sucker out. I said, ooh, let me get this ready right now. I said, when I got to the hotel, because when he said county jail down the street, I said, man, I hope one of these motherfuckers don't try to come test us over here at this hotel. But so we get the gas, get the beer, drive across the street underneath the freeway. It's right by the freeway too. If you see my video, you can see the freeway right by the hotel. Circle around in a little neighborhood looking all old, but all the houses got like big ass wall fences, like controlled gate fences, big giant walls, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the fuck? And the roads are all beat up and shit. The grass was cactus and dirt all on it. I'm like, man, this shit look wild. So then we turn the corner, and then the hotel is fenced in too. It's gated in with a nice, beautiful wood gate, but it's open. And I pulled up. I said, hey man, I told the lady, I said, hey man, is this a safe place or something? She said, no, this is absolutely safe. She said, you good, trust me, this place don't have no issues. This place is locked up at night. We got 24-hour man security and cars outside our gates. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So that was the first stop. That went well. And then we got up in the morning and we pressed on. And the next stop was, I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. The next stop was Fort Stockton, Texas. Let me see, did I get this right? Yeah. The next stop was Fort Stockton, Texas. But hold on, before we get to Fort Stockton, Texas, man, let me tell you a story about Fort Stockton, Texas. So when we leave Tucson, you're gonna go through Las Cruces, New Mexico. Beautiful country, it's really nice. You know, New Mexico is called the land of enchantment. Okay, so we going through Las Cruces, stop there, get some gas, keep pressing on. Now, once you get out of Tucson, you go into New Mexico. Now you're in Las Cruces, but there's a border checkpoint. Okay, let me back up. San Diego, there's a border checkpoint right outside of Alpine, California, right around there, but it wasn't open on our side. It was open. It wasn't active. You just drive right through. But coming in, they were stopping people coming in from Yuma to California, but going out to Yuma, that border section wasn't open. They usually don't stop you going into Arizona, or anytime you in California traveling, you won't get stopped leaving the state per se to another state. So if you're in Northern California, you head into the Oregon border, you ain't gonna get stopped going into Oregon. Your ass is gonna get stopped coming back through. Same with Nevada. When you go through Nevada, going into Nevada, you ain't gonna get stopped going into Nevada. You get stopped coming back into Cali. California's gonna stop you coming in. They ain't gonna say nothing going out, okay? So once we got into New Mexico, we cruising through, and I already know because I had the border spots already mapped out, you know. So basically, we get to the border, and the crossing they do it right before you cross the state. So the border crossings was still in New Mexico, but right down the road was Texas, 15 miles outside of the border patrol crossing, right? So we pulling up, and my wife's like, so we're in our car just sitting there in a long line, and she noticed that there's cameras along the way. And I told her this before, she must have forgot. There's cameras about eye level to your car, and then some are high if you got a truck. And I said, don't do anything. I'm saying like this, like I'm saying, hey, don't move, don't reach in the glove box, don't do anything fidgety. She's like, why? I said, look out the peripheral of your eye like this. I said, look out the peripheral, and you see those cameras right there? Them cameras are high powered. They can zoom in on to see how big a zit is on your face. And she said, really? I said, yeah, so don't fidget. People who are moving around, I said, if you're gonna get some water or get a bag of chips, that's fine. Just be deliberate with your movements. Don't be looking around and grabbing stuff and putting stuff. Because if they see you on those cameras, I noticed, and my buddy was a Border Patrol agent, if they see you on the cameras fidgeting in your car, and they got some up top too, they powerful, they can come right on in. And if you got tinted windows, they definitely gonna probably stop you. So the tint can backfire on you too. I mean, if you ain't doing nothing illegal, who gives a shit? But they can't see anything in. They gonna probably stop your car because they want to see who you look like. They gonna still stop you when you get to the gate, but in line, they already picking out what cars they gonna pull over. From what I was told. So we coming through, and then man, like we were like 4 cars back, and there was another car up there, and you just saw the big ass German Shepherd come out. He had him like, he was like jumping on the car, clawing all at the door. I'm like, holy shit, what this motherfucker trying to bring across the border? They pull him to the side. About 6 border agents come out, go to the car, convene on it. I was like, wow. And then, so now next car go through, next car go. Then we get up there, and the young kid, he was young. He's like 22 years old, maybe 20. He was like, how you folks doing? Fine. How you, sir? He said, good question. Are you guys U.S. citizen? Absolutely. He said, okay, have a nice day. And then my dog starts barking like jumping all at him and shit. And he started laughing. So that was the crossing right there. That's how that went. I'm just dropping that information, man. So if y'all doing this drive, be prepared to be stopped at the border. Now, all y'all cats who like to smoke weed and bring your little vape pens, I'm telling you right now, when you're crossing through these states, if you got weed or a vape pen or all that kind of stuff, put that shit on the outside of your car. Especially if you're traveling through a state that marijuana is recreational legal, or you have a medical marijuana card or whatever it may be. Because from California all the way to New Louisiana, it's recreational in Arizona. It's recreational in California, Arizona, and Texas. Marijuana is rec. So you don't have to have no kind of medical card to get weed. They got dispensaries. Once you get to Louisiana, it's not recreational, but it's medical marijuana. But let's go back to the border crossing. So when you're coming through those borders, even though you're traveling with marijuana and it's recreational in the state you're traveling into, they will stop you, pull you out your car, and let the dog go off of your shit because they got to reward the dog for smelling drugs. You feel me? So you ain't gonna probably get arrested and nothing like that, but you got to be conscious of what you're doing. So if you have burnt marijuana, like a joint or something, or a blunt, and it's in your ashtray, they could probably apprehend you for driving impaired under the influence of under the influence of marijuana. So your marijuana can't be burnt or smoked or anything like that. And all that stuff, you want to have that in a little bag. And one agent told me, he said, put that shit, I said, man, how y'all operate on that system? He said, man, put it in your gas cap, or if you had something on top of your car, or a little magnet box underneath your car, something like that. And when you get to the border, in the border crossing area, if the dog hit, All you gotta do is tell them like, hey man, I got recreational marijuana. It's nothing inside of my car. It's in my gas cap. And then they can go open the gas cap and see it and let the dog hit it. And then you go about your own way. Now, if inside of the capsule of your car, you're asking for a whole bunch of problems, man. But you should be okay because it's all recreational going across the southern border from San Diego to New Orleans, okay? That's for all you weed heads. Now, so now where we at? We crossed through La Crosse. We at Las Cruces. We're coming through, and that I-10 East, man, that shit's fucked up when you get to Arizona and right outside of Tucson and going through New Mexico. It's all bumpy and fucked up. They're doing a little bit of road work right in Las Cruces. They got major construction coming through that pass right there. I mean, it comes down to two little bitty ass lanes. I'm next to this big ass 18-wheeler, man. Man, it was crazy. And then you get outside that route, they make the trucks ride on the left side because they're doing all this work. And then I guess they don't want them to fall off into a ditch or something. I don't know what it is, but they ride the left lane coming through New Mexico. Normally trucks ride the right lane. So I thought that was odd. But anyway, so yeah, we went through there. And then, so from Tucson, the next stop was going to be Fort Stockton, Texas. Man, let me tell you about Fort Stockton, Texas. As soon as we got through that Las Cruces border, I'm telling you, I had this in the back seat. It was getting a little late. We pushed hard. I think that was our 8-hour drive. And was it gonna be 8 hours or 9? It was gonna be the longest drive, I think. It was like close to 9. And you saw one of my pictures. We were on the road almost at sunset. So we made it there before it was completely dark. But when we pulled up again, came off the freeway, I Interstate 10 East, come out the freeway, boom, Fort Stockton. Man, you come right off and you're right there, bam, Fort Stockton. And then it's like a couple gas stations and a couple hotels, a little restaurant, and then I think it's a Walmart or something like that. And then you go down the road and then there's the base. So the hotels for the visitors and stuff are all right off the freeway when you come off. It's all right there. Down the road is residents and then military personnel base and stuff like that. And this shit looks shady. I said, man, what's up with these hotels you picking, man? She was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, man, they all look shady as fuck. But again, Tucson, beautiful hotel called the Tuxton. You ever go through Tucson? Trust me, bro. Stop at the Tuxton. Look at my short. I put it up. Beautiful, man. Tight, clean, nice restaurant, beautiful rooms. So we pulled to Fort Stockton. I'm like, man, what's up with this? I think it was man, I don't want to miss. Was it a Howard Johnson or something like that? Was it Best Western? I don't know, man. Whatever, man. But so we pull up. I'm like, man, this shit look wild. So I go to the front desk again because all the reservations are in my name. So I go up in there. I said, man, what's up with this little town? It looks kind of shady. And she said, oh no, sir. Don't worry. She said, you probably in one of the safest places in Texas. I said, what do you mean? She said, oh, this is Fort Stockton. Nobody touches nobody's stuff in Fort Stockton. She said, look out the window right there. See that building? I was like, yeah. She said, that's the sheriff's department right there. And then we also have Border Patrol here. And then we got MPs. And guess where they all they post up and do their patrol? I said, where's you? In our parking lot. So, man, not less than 5 minutes later, freaking sheriff pulls up, back to this little spot, and he just started doing his reports and just sitting there. Then a border agent came driving down the street, honked his horn at the sheriff. And I said, because I had a little thing on my top with some stuff in it, not no guns or anything. I said, can I leave this on here overnight? Is somebody gonna bother it? She said, no, sir, no one's gonna. She said, everybody in this town has a gun, and there's no theft in this town. I was like, really? And she said, yeah, it's very small. It just basically is a base, and it's all military personnel, and everybody here works for the military, or they just live here because it's cheap. I said, damn. Now the room was cool. It wasn't bad. And so we sat there, had a couple beers, and then I was like, man, so I said, well, y'all got a restaurant somewhere? Because all they had in Fort Stockton was like Taco Bell, KFC. What else they had? Subway. They ain't had nothing really. They ain't had nothing, man. And then some lady said, the good front desk lady said, oh, there's a restaurant called K-Bob's Steakhouse. If anybody's been to Fort Stockton, called K-Bob's Steakhouse. And she said, show them your room key and they'll give you 10% off. So we did an order to go. And what did we get? I got a burger and my wife got I think she got some chicken wings, believe it or not. Some onion rings, some shit. I ain't like the shit at all. Burger was terrible, man. I don't know, maybe I should have went for a steak, but I didn't want to eat a steak on the road. I ain't into all that. But got the food, and so I'm gonna go pick it up across the street. It's like a 2-minute ride. It was black outside by then, but it's only like 7:30, but it was pitch black. I'm like trying to find this damn place, but I'm back a little road. It's right across the street, but it was kind of, you gotta take a service road and weave around the back end and all this kind of stuff. And then when I pull up there, go inside, and it's like 3 border agents sitting there eating all this kind of stuff. I'm like, this is crazy. So there, I didn't see no immigration issues or nothing. Like they had that shit locked down. There wasn't nothing going on in Fort Stockton. So now let's move forward. Now, so we're in Fort Stockton, Texas. Now the next morning, let's see. So we got Tucson, Fort Stockton, Texas, and then the next stop was gonna be Houston, Texas. That's right, Houston, Texas, because that's right. We was gonna press all. Oh, by the way, we didn't go to Roswell. We scratched that plan because my wife miscalculated. That shit was way out of our way, like 7.5 hours north, and they had to come back down and come through Dallas. It'll put another day on our travel, and we were trying to get here quick as possible because we want to see our daughter play that following Saturday up in Southern in Baton Rouge, like I was telling you. So we were pressed for time to get here by Friday. So we scratched Roswell. We're going to just fly back out there and do that another time. But so now we're about to head to Houston. Man, let me tell you right now, hey, all my boys live in Texas. I love y'all. Y'all my family. Y'all cool. Oh, by the way, that drive from Fort Stockton to Houston, that shit is nice, man. I put a few pictures up with horses and cattle ranches and stuff like that, trees and all that kind of stuff. But the drive from Arizona through New Mexico, that shit's just all desolate. Desert, fucking tumbleweed and cactus and all that kind of shit. Creepy as fuck, man. There ain't shit to look at going through that drive. But from Fort Stockton all the way through to Houston, yeah, that's a nice little drive right there. Now you can cut down and go through San Angelo and go across, but I don't suggest that if you don't know that route. I did it many, many years ago when I was working for my energy company. There's a cut through. You can go through San Angelo. I don't know, it was 82 or something, whatever. You can cut through, but that road is fucked up because they go from 60 to 30 to 60 to 30, 60 to 30, because like, and it goes like windy road, windy road, windy road, windy road, then 60, then windy road, windy road, windy road, then 60, then man, that drive is fucked up. So you might just go over the top. It's like 100 miles out your way. Going that way, you cut off 60 miles or something like that. But nah, I'm good. And there ain't nobody on that road either. You all by yourself with a few other drivers. So we went over the top, went straight through. And man, let me tell y'all right now, y'all boys in Texas, man, I ain't gonna lie. Man, I'm gonna give it up to y'all. Man, y'all state is massive, man. Whoo, that's a big ass state, man. That is a big ass state, man. I was like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? I've been there before. It's like I've never been to Texas, but it just kind of resonated with me on this trip. Man, El Paso, now, I'm from San Diego, so Tijuana is right below us. My house is here. Tijuana is right here. That's how close I live to Tijuana. El Paso and Juarez is like this. You can literally see that shit from the freeway. Like, you just look over and like, oh, there's Juarez. Now, Tijuana, you can kind of do it you can see the mountain range in Stadium Azteca. You can see that from Imperial Beach in San Diego. But you just can't drive by the freeway and see TJ. You can drive down this road and kind of see buildings and mountaintops and stuff. But, man, El Paso and Juarez, man, that shit's like this, bro. And that freeway system they did down there, I don't know if they bit that from the LA freeway system, but that should remind me of the LA freeway system. I mean, shit going everywhere. Whoa, wah, 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 man, your GPS gonna be tripping. That thing be like, bloop, bloop, make it right, rerouting. It's like the GPS get lost in that little shit down there in El Paso. Man, that was an amazing thing that my wife never seen it before. I seen it a long time ago, but now it looks overly populated now. To me, El Paso is basically Mexico. Same way I feel with Chula Vista, San Isidro, Imperial Beach. Man, that shit is Mexico. They can call that shit San Diego all they want. Man, they had people all over the place, and they had signs saying "Don't pick up no humans" and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? And so, and just driving through there, we didn't stop in El Paso. Fuck that shit. We pressed right through that shit. I ain't stopping in this damn town. And just driving through there, you hearing sirens and shit from the Juarez side and near the border, and you seeing all these U.S. border agents driving all. Man, that shit is wild, man. That's a big ass city, man. But it was definitely eye opening. And then, so the next we cruising. Now we're just stopping for gas. We're not stopping for night because our next night gonna be in Houston. Go through San Antonio, I believe. Yeah, we go through San Antonio. San Antonio's huge too, big city, man. I think there's more military troops in San Antonio than any city in America. It's like over 400,000 military personnel down there or something. Maybe not that many, but it's quite a few, a couple 100,000, I think it is. Lots of bases and stuff in San Antonio, military air bases and stuff. So it was a lot of military personnel. Big city, man. Really, really big city. So now we going through, and I ain't gonna lie, when we did stop at this one gas station, I got to go back. It was a little bit outside of Fort Stockton. I don't know what stop that was, but man, we saw, in San Antonio, them motherfuckers, I think the police is in on something. I got a video I'm going to drop on y'all, man. San Antonio PD is dirty because we saw them pull up at a gas station after a van pulled up, and it looked like it was a whole bunch of illegals because a dude jumped out, and then he went to the door, and then and then like 3 dudes walked out, and he followed behind him and stood behind the bathroom door on the outside of the building. And then the San Antonio police came up and pulled up. They didn't get out, pulled up, got right backed up into the spot. They went in there, came back with some chips and some shit, some bags with goodies and stuff, 3 or 4 bags, and then you heard him say like underlay, and made the motherfucker run back inside the van, and then they took off, and then San Antonio PD followed them out of there. I'm like, what's that shit about? But I got a video I'm gonna show you. I ain't gonna put on this video, but I did some reporting on that. I found out like, yeah, San Antonio police is dirty, but they out there working for these NGOs, trafficking these illegal immigrants, and then letting them go where they want to go. They're getting paid. That's a whole nother topic, man. I saw it at a gas station down there. I ain't lying, bro. So then, yeah, we press on, and then we get to Houston. Now, Houston, man, let me tell you right now, man, shout out to everybody in Houston, H-Town, I love y'all. I would never live in Houston. Fuck that shit. Hell no. Man, that city is hella big. That city's so fucking big. They got 2 downtowns and 2 airports. They got George W. Bush, and then they got Hobby. Now, people say Hobby is kind of like the rough little area. It is actually. I ain't gonna lie. Some things is facts. It is that Hobby area. Man, be careful around there because we stay by the airport. Now, the airport by Hobby, they got the newer hotels, all that kind of stuff. But right around the corner from all them hotels in the airport is the Cuts. And if anybody know what the Cuts is, do your own homework. It's the Cuts, bro. So, and I ain't nervous, so, because my whole time I'm strapped. So, I'm like this. When I'm in Houston, I had the 22 round stick, but me, I wasn't messing around. So when I got to Houston, when I was in Fort Stockton, matter of fact, I put the stick up in there. I still had the 10 round. I still had the 13 rounder. I still had this going, but I was like, fuck that, man. So I had my stick out, and I put the stick up in there, and that's what I was walking around in Houston. And you can't tell. I mean, I know it stick out right there, but for the most part, you can't tell I got a stick up on me. Now, if I did something like that, it's sticking out right there. But for the most part, it wasn't a big deal, man. I had the stick on me, and I had it in there because I just want that max capacity on me. And I still got the, sidecar, so I need to loosen this caddy up. It's not pulling out fast enough. But yeah, so I had the stick on me, so I wasn't tripping. I'm like, man, because I went to the store to get some to tap off the gas can because I knew I was gonna be by the airport and get some beer. And I jumped down. Some guys like, oh man, what's up, OG man? Oh man, that's nice. Because I had the California plates, so they looking at my place, and so instead of acting stupid. That's one thing when you moving, man. Don't be acting like people are blind. He's like, what's up, Cali? I was like, oh man. He said, where you from, man? I was like, they want to know where you from. Fuck it, man. I say, hey, San Diego. Oh, San Diego, cool, man. My folks live in LA, man. Woo, 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 and all that kind of stuff. I said, right on, fellas, man. Boom, bounce. Got in my car. Gas was like what, $2.37 in Houston. Woo, that gas was cheap. They got all kind of energy companies down there. They got refineries and plants. I don't even know why people even unemployed in Texas. It's so much work down there. If you young, you 25, 30 years old, whatever, and your ass is broke, sitting in your grandma's basement right now playing PlayStation, get your ass up, get a bus ticket, take your ass to Texas and get a job and start paying your own way. There's no reason why a young person in America should be unemployed. Y'all just want to stay where it's comfortable. Get your ass out of your comfort zone and go to some of these states where there's some money to be made. That's what I did. I worked for an energy company. I was working in Wyoming, Utah, motherfucking Colorado, where else I've been? I can't remember all the fucking states I worked in the middle of nowhere, traveling 9-10 months out the year, only coming home for holidays so I can put food on the table and pay my bills. But these young people now, y'all just flat out just want to have just straight comfort all the time. Get out your comfort zone, man. Go get a job and work 60 hours a week for about 5-6 years to stack your dollars up, and you'll see, man, it's worth it, man. The boys in Texas work, man. I everywhere I stopped in the gas station, it was all young guys and girls too, working with boots on, hard hats, dirty, greasy, getting their lunch, eating their food. I'm like saluting them. Like, that's what I love to see traveling across the country. But yeah, so Houston was rough, man. That was crazy. Those freeways are nuts because that's that 46 East. You got to take, 49 East to get on to 10 East, and you got to zip all around just to get all the way through, man. That shit's a nightmare, man. Fuck Houston, man. I was at Dodge today, but hey, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. I'm way cool. But so we went through Katy, and yeah, we drove kind of like through Katy. They had that big super mall, just all that kind of stuff. And then so now the next last push is from Houston to New Orleans. So now that drive is only going to be 5 hours, 4.5 hours. So it wasn't too bad, you know. So when on that drive, we gonna hit all the little cities going, you know, Lake Charles, La Place, Lafayette, Louisiana, and all those little places. And then once we hit the state line, you can just kind of tell you in Louisiana that you're out of Texas. On the east side of Texas, it kind of blend a little bit, but not too much. You kind of know when you leave in Texas, when you come in from west to east, you know when you leave in Texas for sure. What's tricky is when you go on east to west, and you in Texas, you can't tell when you in New Mexico because that shit kind of looked similar on the edge of the border. And for damn sure, New Mexico and Arizona look damn near similar. So, but you know when you hit that that Bayou border for sure, you definitely know it. And then we take that drive all the way in. Now I did stop at another advice I would tell y'all is when you're getting off these freeways, get gas. You know. Try to get the ones with the blue board that say food, gas, this, restroom, and all that kind of stuff, versus one that just says like Love gas station or QT if you're in Texas and it's just by itself. Try to stay away from them a little bit. You know, truck stops too. Be careful around truck stops. I mean, I know people think like, oh yeah, truckers, they cool, they nice. Yes, they are some good, nice, cool truckers, but a lot of truckers, them motherfuckers be infiltrating, facilitating criminal activity too. So just don't think just because a dude's a trucker that they cool and all that, man. I'm cool. Them cats be involved in sex trade and prostitution, kidnapping, and all kind of shit, drug and all kind of stuff. Don't let them people fool you, man. So try to stay at try to get your gas at a big populated gas station. You know what I'm saying? And so we did that stop. And when you get to Louisiana, gas went down. Texas was pretty cheap. Louisiana was like $2.50. Going in through Lafayette, $2.60, and then they'll creep up to $2.69, and some places it'll be $2.78. So, so that's the way that gas went. And then we got all the way in, man. We made it all the way to New Orleans, man. So the drive went well. Like I said, these are some of the items that I had with me. I had this with me. Didn't have to use any of this stuff. So, you know, looking back, somebody said, "Man, that's overkill. You had this, I had this, and I had this." I did get some sights before YouTube. These weapons are all unloaded. I'm not gonna be racking nothing like that. They all unloaded. These mags are unloaded. I did get some iron sights on the 7.5, but right when I got into the car and we started driving the first trip and we got to the first stop in Tucson, and I was just, you know, checking everything out. And the first thing I thought was like, I went and watched one of my videos on the 7.5 inch. And first thing I thought was like, man, I'm not shooting this motherfucker in no hotel or a car because this shit is loud, man. I'm serious. The only reason why I got this thing because Sleep So BK Fly and who else taught me into getting a 7.5 inch? Sleep So BK Fly was definitely an influencer on this 7.5 inch Palmetto with the arrow lower. And who else was got me into this damn thing? I want to say Citizen 2A Citizen. No, I don't know if it was him, but I know Sleep definitely. Cause he had his Omni, and I was like, damn, I need to get me a 7.5 inch. And they fun, but boy, let me tell you, these things is loud, man. And I'm just thinking like, if I was supposed to blast this thing out by my wife, she would be dead for the rest of her life and be terrified all in the same breath, man. So, man, I was like, I'm definitely not using this. So I packed it up, locked it up with the rest of the other guns. This is empty YouTube. It ain't nothing up in there. I had it's empty magazine. I had to put this thing up. I was like, hell no, I ain't shooting this thing, man. So I had this pretty much. I had this going, and I wasn't carrying this with me like all the time. I just had it when I was in Houston when it was daylight, and I was going to the liquor store to get some beer and get some gas. And I said, fuck that. When I was in the hotel, so let me put this stick up in here just in case, you know, it gets a little hectic out there. Because them boys in Texas all carry big sticks. I mean, when you in the cuts, any kind of rural area, even like in a small town in America, these little farm town dudes, all those little wild out little characters, they carry maximum magazines, man. They don't be playing around. They even tell you. So then I had broke this out. I said, this one shoots a little softer. It's not quite as loud. And so this is my 10.5. And now this one is loaded YouTube, but I ain't bought the racket. And I had got a couple window mags at Sportsman Warehouse in Arizona. And So yeah, I had put this one out because this one I know for a fact is not as loud as that 7.5 inch, but still, none of this came into effect. None of it came into effect. Thank God. Didn't want to use it. Didn't have to use it, and thankful that I didn't have to use it. But somebody's gonna say, "Man, that's a little much. You had all that in your car." Like, man, I had more than that. I had all my guns in my car, but they were all in bags locked up. But this one and the shotgun and the pistol wasn't locked up. It was in a bag, but not locked. Yeah, because you got to have it ready to go. And yeah, man, you never know what you may need. Because when I was driving through these areas, when it's 4 or 5 cars pulling up at gas stations, you don't know if they're all together or not. You don't know what's gonna probably pop off. You don't know what they're gonna pull out. But if you had something like this at the ready and you had to defend yourself, you would feel very good, man. You would feel very, very good. Now, I didn't get the drum that I was supposed to get because I didn't want to spend the money. I was being cheap. I said, I'm gonna wait till I get to Louisiana and see if I could get it just a little bit less than what Sportsman Warehouse was asking, but it's probably not because it's gonna be Magpul, so I'll get that later. But yeah, man, so I had broke that out, and didn't have to use that at all, and I just basically had my ammo ready to go, just in case something was gonna happen, and that was pretty much the firepower that I had with me for the trip, man. So it was a very peaceful trip, very relaxing. We took a lot of pictures and stuff, and we're gonna do like some albums and stuff like that. And you know, like for the most part, all the people we met along the southern border were very nice people. We met a lot of families, husbands and wives. We met some young kids too. They took pictures with me and stuff. Some kids subscribed to my channel. They were students going across the country, going to San Diego actually. And I was like, we just moved from there, so I turned them on to some restaurants and places to go eat and gave them some like tips on what not to do, and one of them actually hit me up on one of my videos already, and so yeah, man, you know, I can't complain. I had no problems at all traveling the southern border, smooth as silk, just me and my wife. I know people are probably watching and say, man, y'all drove, that's crazy, you drove that border off. You know what? It was really shocking to me how many people were driving solo on this trip. Now it was 2 or 3 cars that we saw that arrived at a couple of stops at the same time we did. So some people are actually literally going the same direction. So if you stay with a group of cars on you know, just traveling, you know, maybe that could work out too. Because we ran into people at Fort Stockton when we checked in at that hotel. They recognized us from Tucson, so they've been on the same trek that we were. There was an older white couple just like us. Well, I'm older. I'm old too. Shit, we all old, but. Yeah, man, it was definitely a safe trip. It was a great experience. If you haven't did it, if you got small kids, get your kids out there on some road trips. And again, do you need all this to travel on the open road? No, you probably don't. A pistol or a shotgun might be good enough. But man, you want to have options, man, because when you out there on the side of that road, your car break down, overheat, and you got to wait. And then a lot of these servicemen in these little small towns, they may not be on the up and up. So somebody need to have a pistol or something ready and keep an eye on even the helpers that's coming to help you. You really just can't trust nobody on the open road when you're broke down or, you know, hitting up these gas stations and whatnot. You want to have your head in a swivel at all times and be very aware. Now, we pulled over at a few rest areas, saw some road runners. That was pretty cool. And, you know, quiet little areas, take a piss, you know, kick back for about 5-10 minutes, hit the road. That's all fine and dandy. But one of the key things is know who you are as a driver. Do you like driving at night? Is your eyes good at night and all that kind of stuff? I got astigmatism, so, and these new lights with those bright ass halogens and should be, motherfucker, be blinding the shit out of me. So I don't really do well at night. Now, last night I had to drive at night coming back from Mississippi, and it wasn't too bad though. But Mississippi is also, man, I ain't gonna lie, dude, I was shocked. The Gulf Coast area right there, that area right there, Pescaluga, whatever they call it, the Gulf Coast. It's not Gulfport, but Gulf Coast. That right there in the water, that little area, it's nice, man. Real green, and the area by the little sports complex was green, beautiful homes, farmhouses, and there's a community college in that little town right there. Yeah, Mississippi was nice, man. I ain't gonna lie, it's pretty down there by the coast there. Now I don't know what it's like in Hattiesburg and Jackson and up north in the middle of the Texas state or northern part of Mississippi, but by the coast, it's real nice down there. So get a chance, go up there and see. Get a chance, come on down to the south and see what it's looking like, man. But yeah, man, I just wanted to tap in, let y'all know how that trip went, and you know what I was rocking with, and now I got all my I got all the rights that everybody else have. I can do it. And, oh yeah, my new home setup, I can use this for home defense now because it's brick. All these houses down here in Louisiana is brick, and there's no one really close. Like I can shoot this wall right here, and this bullet was not going to go to my neighbor's house. So I technically can use this, but I'm not. What I'm going to do is get my 300 blackout rolling, and hopefully I can talk to Citizen 2A Citizen, Osama bin Smoking, and they can guide me to a good suppressor on here and how to get the paperwork to get that going. I want to suppress my 300 blackout, my 8.5 inch, so that'll be sweet. But I want to tell you guys though, what I have been paying attention is that stock up on 5.56 ammo, man. For real, pistol caliber, you'll be all right for a minute. You'll be all right. But if you buy an ammo, I just switched my whole thing. I just bought 1,000 rounds, 9mm at Academy the other day for $225, I think. Well, look, I got the 10% off because the first time I've never shopped at an Academy before, so I got a 10%er, and then I also ordered 1,000 rounds of 5.56. Because those calibers, I think that 9mm, I only have now since I ordered that 1,000 rounds, I only have 1,300 rounds of 9mm. And then 5.56, the 1,000 I ordered, I only have 250 myself. Well, I have more than that because I got a whole bunch of mags loaded up, but I don't count those. And so I need to get the 5.56 up to 5,000 rounds at minimum. I'll be happy with that, and then just keep chipping at it and buying more and buying more. But the goal is to get this 5.56. Man, I'm about to drop another couple hundred next week just to get another 1,000. Because when the election comes, who knows, man? They might try to ban the ammo. And I told you guys this a long time ago in one of my videos. They may not ban the weapon, but they're gonna try to make the ammo hard to get. You see what I'm saying? So get your get some 5.56 stockpile. Some of you guys are doing a great job with that, but I got plenty of shotgun ammo going, and 10 mil, I got that pretty solid up, pretty good, sold up. Everything else is good, but I'm just nervous about the 5.56 ammo, man. So let me know what you guys think about this video, and let me know if you guys ever driven the southern border. Have you guys ever did it from either area or even the northern border? I'd like to hear some of y'all stories about driving the borders and stuff like that. But the southern border, it's a different ball game. I'm not gonna hype it up and say I saw all this and this and I had to pull my gun out and all that. No, I didn't do none of that shit. You could have to, but I didn't, and thank God that I didn't. I really appreciate it. God had our back the whole time. He always does. God is always good, and it was a safe trip, man. So if you think about doing this, strategically plan where you're gonna stop, and don't try to be ice road trucker and say I'm gonna drive 16 hours. Whoa, man, you're gonna fatigue yourself out and end up finding yourself in a sticky situation. Make sure your AAA auto is up to date. Get a good oil change, check your tire pressure, make sure you got a good spare tire. I had a nice little hand set of tools, crescent wrenches, big, all kind of stuff. And I carried 2 or 3 quarts of the oil for my vehicle. You want to have all that stuff, road flares, road vests. I had flashlights and stuff like that. So just be prepared. I had headlamp. Just be prepared, man, because you never know what could happen. And I was only gonna drive in the daytime, so you could imagine at night how many things can happen. But yeah, man, it's your boy Eisner Tactical, man. Appreciate everybody. I got some more content coming. I got a couple of videos I already made. I just got to release them, and you're gonna like the content. The channel is doing good. Over 5,000 subscribers. I think I just cracked 600,000 views. So, man, I appreciate everybody who's been on this journey with me with this YouTube thing, man. And honestly, coming from one of the most restricted states in the United States to one of the freest unrestricted states, I think my channel is probably going to take off a little bit more, because now I can actually speak on both areas. Most people only lived in unrestricted states, so they don't know what it's like to live with a 10-round mag. I did it. I had no problem with it. Y'all see my videos. Most of my videos, I built this whole channel in a restricted state. You see what I'm saying? So somebody living in a restricted state, don't listen to these people, man. You can still protect yourself and buy good stuff and have good guns. And trust me, the cemetery is full of people who got popped with 10-round mags, man. So don't get caught up on what you can't have, man. Just focus on what you can get and get it often and get as much as you can. All right. It's your boy Eisner Tactical, man. Everybody stay blessed. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.